This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So we are back with Lisa Massey with Snap NHD. And one of my favorite...
Wait, what's your last name?
Massey.
Massey with Snappy. That's what.
Snappy Massey?
Snappy Massey. That's her new name. Snappy Massey.
All right.
Right?
Everybody calls her that.
Or they call me Sassy Massey usually.
Sassy Massey.
I could see that. I
have a little sass.
Yep.
You have to when you're 5'1".
I was gonna say I wasn't gonna say. I was trying to figure out how to phrase that. When you're your size, you kind of need
size.
Yeah, you need a little snap, a little
Yeah.
sass. So, but my favorite thing about you is just how long you've been in the real estate industry and how well connected you are and how nice you are to everybody. Like, you have such a great reputation, and that is really, in my opinion, what makes the difference between whether you're a real estate agent selling houses or whether you're working for an NHD company or a title company is really your reputation and just how you treat people. And you have such a great reputation, Lisa.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's a big business, but it's a small world, right? So we're all connected.
And the bigger you get, the smaller it is, right? And
It's so true.
You know so many people. And for people out there, if you have if you're looking for a good NHD company, if you're a real estate agent, give Lisa a call. What's their best way to reach out to you, Lisa?
My phone number, 916-549-1226. You can call or text. And then my email is lmassey, which is LMASSEY, at snapnhd.com.
Perfect. Or you can always just, shoot me a text. Go on to madeformorerealty.com, say, who was that guest that you had? And I'm happy to connect you with Lisa. All you have to say is NHD, and there's only one person that we refer out, and that's Lisa Massey with Snap. But getting back to the subject at hand, AB38, it's very interesting that now in the county of El Dorado, like that, if you're in a high fire risk zone, you're needing to get that handled. Do you mind just sharing a little bit about what AB38 is and what that looks like?
Absolutely. So the AB38 passed in July. It was July 1st of 2021. And basically what it is requiring is if the home was built prior to January 1st, 2010, and it's in a high or very high fire severity zone, that basically what you need to do is have defensible space completed. You need to have these inspections done on the home. And so what has now been added, along with this has already been the case, is Paradise and Truckee were the two areas where it was not required to complete that inspection through CAL FIRE prior to close of escrow. But as of last year in July, they have added El Dorado County to the required areas that you cannot close escrow before completing that inspection.
And so that inspection, that is done by CAL FIRE, right?
Yes. So if it's in the... it's in very high fire severity zone, and it's at the SRA, which is a state responsibility area. That is CAL FIRE. And then there's the local responsibility area. So you'll see like the acronym LRA, SRA. So the LRA basically is stating that it's at the local level. So you're thinking of the local municipalities.
But that inspection has to be done prior to close, and that can take anywhere from days to weeks, correctly?
Absolutely.
And it's not that there's that much work to be done. It's just the response times can be that delayed.
Absolutely. There's only so many inspectors that they have, so you definitely don't want to delay that close of escrow. So I really stress to the client, the agent, to, even if they know they're going to take that listing, if it's even 2 weeks before and they've signed with that seller, go ahead and just start the process. Reach out to me. I'll order the NHD report, and it will give them the in or out determinations. And then they're all hyperlinked in our report, so they can just simply click on the AB38 link. And then the seller can just fill out their first, last name, email address, and their property address that they need that inspection on. And if for some reason CAL FIRE comes back and says, well, actually, it's not our responsibility, it's at the local level, then they will let the client know that as well.
So just to recap, get that NHD report from Snap as quickly as possible.
Absolutely.
So like we talked earlier about how we like to order it as soon as we have the listing agreement signed. So then that way we can provide that on the listing. And just that way everybody knows, hey, are we in a high fire, high risk flood zone? If if the agent maybe didn't do that and you represent the buyer, get it ordered as quickly as possible as soon as escrow is open, because you don't know how long it's going to take for that work to get done. And what's sad is some of these people, many of these houses now, they bought the house, they were not in high fire zone, and now they don't even know that they are in high fire zone, and now they got to do work to the property in order to be able to sell it. And that just takes time, and that costs expense, and it really just needs to be handled sooner rather than later. So the great thing about Snap NHD's forms is, as soon as you make that request, they can click on the link, and it'll take, if they are in a high fire zone, right, then click on the link and they can start the process. Like, it's super easy.
Absolutely. We make it very easy for them to start that process, complete it. In all of the other areas in California, you can pass that responsibility off to the buyer. So the buyer would have 1 year post-close of escrow to complete the inspection. Mm-hmm. But now we have those 3 areas. And it'll be interesting to see, what happens, with all the latest fires. And, there's probably a lot more changes coming our way. And we are always at the forefront at Snap NHD to inform the real estate industry on, what direction we're going in.
Yeah.
So rest assured that we're on top of that.
It seems like it's just going to become more likely that you're going to have to do those inspections prior to close. That's probably where it's going.
It seems like it would go in that direction. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm just curious how they're going to do that, because they're probably just hamstrung by the number of inspectors they have. But if all of the foothills have to be inspected prior to close, we're talking about a lot of potential people you need in order to perform those inspections in a timely manner. I wonder, I just got so many ideas. I wonder if inspection companies could start doing this, if they would just let it farm it out to them,
I could see that happening, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyways, interesting stuff. But AB38, make sure you get the Snap NHD ordered as quickly as possible. And what's really cool about your guys' product is if the house doesn't close, you don't pay. You mind exactly going over what that looks like?
Yeah, so, sometimes, you'll have a signed offer and then the seller decides that they're going to change their mind. Or maybe something has happened, right? For whatever reason, the listing is going to fall through. And so there's no cancellation on our end. You guys are obviously out a lot more than we are on, our report.
Yeah.
Our report is $99.95. So it's, it's the cost of doing business, right?
Sure.
But we want to make sure that you guys are always informed and you have what you need right up front. So that's our position on that. So there's no cancellation fee at all whatsoever.
Got it. So just order the report. There's no risk. There's only benefits. And you're right. Sometimes things do happen. I recently listed a house for a guy. He was moving in with his longtime girlfriend. They had 2 separate households, 2 separate families. He had kids, she had kids. And they've been together for I want to say 7 years, a long time. And he's like, Johnny, we're consolidating. We're going to do this. And so
Brady Bunch,
exactly. And so we paid for the photos, a 3D tour. We paid to stage the house. We did all this work. And he calls me up just after we listed the house and goes, hey, Johnny, your staging furniture is in the garage. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm moving back in. You're going to have to pull the listing. I'm like, what? What are you talking? I thought we were selling the house because you're moving in with your girlfriend. And he's like, nope.
Change of plans.
Change of plans. We broke up. So your staging furniture is in.
And you're like, so we break up.
Yeah. So now we're breaking up too. And but same thing that you provide is there. We want to earn clients' business, not lock them into a contract.
Absolutely.
So we ripped up the contract, parted as friends. He didn't owe a dime, and now I'm just going to tell that story for the rest of my life.
And you never know when that client will come back, and he'll have a new girlfriend maybe.
There you go. Maybe she's moving in with him, and we can sell her house.
You never know.
There you go.
But it's a good way to do business for sure. Because life can throw you a lot of things. So.
And you never know. You never know. So we don't want to lock people into contracts. We want to earn their business. Speaking of earning business, you do something special for realtors to get them to know you and just help them with their businesses. You mind going over what that looks like?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I offer is, training through zip forms, through, how to navigate through the CAR forms that you guys work through, hopefully on a daily basis.
Oh my gosh,
the more
yes.
you're, doing, listing homes and putting offers in. And so at Snap NHD, we are fully partnered with CAR. So we're that number 2 drop down on that RPA. And so what I like to do is take it a step further because there is a lot of competition, right? Just as agents. So how do you differentiate yourself in the market? And so I thought, well, learn how agents, upload their listings and their buyer contracts. And so basically I do a start to finish, how to get through a full contract, how to upload them, especially if you're putting offers in, tips and tricks that save you a lot of time.
Yeah, you recently did that for one of our team meetings.
I did, yes.
And it's just so helpful. Like, agents' minds are like, what? I didn't realize you could do that. Like, especially when it's 8 o'clock at night and they're trying to write an offer last minute,
I get calls all the time.
Oh
trust
my
me.
God. Are you serious?
Weekends too, yep. I'm like, okay, well, FaceTime. Sometimes we've got to do that to figure out, okay, what
they
does
just
their
show it?
screen look like?
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Yeah, but I love it. It's funny because I have to remind people I don't work for CAR.
Oh,
I'm not a straight zip form trainer. I have to bring in natural hazard disclosures.
So you're walking them through, okay, check that box. Okay, you see Snap,
Add
select
Snap
that
NHD
one right
to
there.
the drop down.
Yep.
Absolutely.
There you go. Make sure it's in your template.
I mean, I do have a purpose there.
Exactly. So if an agent is wanting to up their game or just they're tired of having to enter in their brokerage information, their license number.
Absolutely.
They can reach out to you. Just reach out to Lisa at Snap NHD.
Create their templates for them.
We have templates for everything. We have templates for conventional offers, FHA, VA, USDA, listing agreements with trusts. Like there's all these, and then you just set it, and then you're good until the forms update, and then you got to go back in.
Well, and I just heard that that's happening again.
So,
have you heard that?
No, I don't pay attention to that.
I'm like, well, it's keeping me relevant, I guess. So
there
that's
you
a
go.
good thing.
There you go. It's job security.
But I heard, in the next few weeks, there's more updates coming. So I'll bring those out to you as they
Thank you.
as they come out.
It's never ending. It's an ongoing thing. I think the lawyers are paid per page, and so they just
Right.
keep coming out with new stuff.
But you know what? It keeps us on our toes, and
it's
never
designed
dull.
to help people. Yeah. So all right.
Absolutely.
And then one last thing before we let you go, Snap has a exciting announcement. They have partnered with ICE, not the ICE that's on the news, right?
Not that ICE.
But a different ICE. Oh, so what exactly has happened with Snap?
Intercontinental Exchange.
ICE stands for Intercontinental Exchange. They're on the New York
Yes.
Stock Exchange.
Yes,
right?
correct.
And so what tell us more about this partnership.
So Will Caldwell, the owner of Snap NHD and Snap Flood, because we also provide flood certs to some of the top lenders in the nation. So think of like United Wholesale Lending, Guaranteed Rate, to name a couple, right?
JJ Mack.
Yes, JJ Mack. We love him. So basically what happened is we have this amazing data, this technology, and this company. Will has created a lot of relationships throughout the real estate industry. And this company, they decided to come together because, Intercontinental Exchange basically is streamlining the mortgage process. And so it's a data technology company. So it's big. I always tell people, think of like CoreLogic, right?
Yep.
It's like, think of that and even on a bigger scope. Mm-hmm. And so it's exciting to be a part of a company like that and to see where this all leads us.
And they picked Snap out of all the NHD choices available because
we are leading in the technology spaticle of the natural hazard and also in the flood cert area. So if you think about it, the lenders, they're required to provide the flood cert, which they get, we get the data from FEMA, right?
Yeah.
And it helps, for the lender to determine flood insurance.
So Snap was just the top tier one. They're like, out of all the NHD companies, I want to go with Snap because of their cutting edge technology.
Absolutely.
And your guys' reports are so easy to read. Like other reports, there seems like there's a whole bunch of disclosures and stuff in there that aren't necessarily relevant to the situation at hand. It's like they're just trying to throw more paperwork to say they provide more, but they're providing more fluff and less substance. And honestly, it can confuse the client. But your guys' reports are really easy to read. Is that intentional? Like, is that?
It's very intentional. Yeah. Yes. So we want to make sure, we think about who's actually reading this report. And it's the buyer that really needs to understand what they're getting into before they make that big decision on purchasing a home.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to make sure that we only provide what's required by the Civil Code and what's required by CAR. So we've made sure that we keep, very strict in or out determinations on that specific APN itself.
Which makes perfect sense. I mean, I get the lawyers trying to over-disclose.
Absolutely.
But at some point, it all just becomes white noise, and they tune out, the client tunes out. I mean, there's over 100 pages of paperwork just in like car forms.
Absolutely.
And that's not counting lender docs, NHDs, like HOA docs. There's so much out there. Title, prelim, like it's overwhelming for the consumer. So
it
just
can
to
be
make
very
it
overwhelming.
Just to make it safer and easier for them, your guys' reports are the easiest to read.
I love our report. It's very straightforward. We have two set of pricing. We have the $74.95, which is that's the natural hazard disclosure report, the tax Melrose. And then if you want the full report, which we always recommend, that includes the environmental. And I always say standard of care in real estate, disclose, right? Mm-hmm. That report actually is not required, but I tell everyone the easiest way to think of environmental is anything that is man-made, right? Mm-hmm. That we've created as right?
Like a dam?
Yes. So you got leaky underground storage tanks, gas and oil wells, things that can cause, cancer, radon, think of all of those things that can occur and affect that actual APN. So you definitely want to make sure that you're letting your buyer know of those potential concerns. So we do provide that for the full price of the $99.95 report.
I mean, it's worth $25. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you guys provide like tax and Melrose questions. Like, I am so often I'm asked, hey, what's the Melrose? What's the Melrose?
Because that again can change what the buyer is qualified for.
Exactly. And so now by getting the Snap NHD, we upload it to Metro List, to our local MLS, and then prospective buyers, agents can see that. They can see what the Melrose is. There's no second guessing, like it's there in black and white. So many reasons to work with Snap NHD, specifically Lisa Massey. So that's it. Any last comments? Anything you want to share before we end this show?
Oh goodness, let's see.
I don't mean to put you on the spot. There doesn't have to be anything. One more time, what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
916-549-1226. You can call or text. And I look forward to working with everyone this year. And I feel like the market's heating up.
It is.
I feel like there's positive energy out there.
Finally.
And my last thing is just remember to order that NHD. You don't want any surprises. So I'm always just really pushing that. And that all of our maps are updated and ready to go.
Love it. And the Snap NHD, there's no other choice. Just pick Snap NHD. Thanks, Lisa.
The one and only.
The one and only.
Thank you.
Do you do this before I go to a movie, especially with my family, because it's expensive going to the theaters these days? I go to Rotten Tomatoes and I check out the critics' reviews, the audience reviews. I want to make sure that I'm going to see a good movie because it can be expensive. I want to make an educated decision. And I think that should be true when it comes to deciding who's going to help you sell your home. You want to make an educated decision. So here's what we recommend you do. Go to Google and search Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team at Made for More Realty. Here's what you're going to find. Over 1,000 5-star Google reviews who say Johnny Jennings is the best, that he's helped them sell or purchase their home. He has great expertise and experience, and that's how we have come to know Johnny Jennings, is just a great word of mouth that he is the best in the area. Hey, maybe that's why they were voted #1 team in Roseville for the past 3 years. So make an educated decision when it comes to selecting the person to sell your home. Hey, if you don't want to go through all the hassles of showings and open houses and getting things organized or doing all of those costly repairs, Johnny Jennings can give you at least 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. Again, at least 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. So if you want to work with the best in our area, just Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty. Again, Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty and get more for your home.